Hello, this is Tyler Conradi, and I'm going to go through Chapter 3, which is entitled Understanding the Community. My community I teach in is Minneapolis, Kansas, which is north of Salina, about 20 miles. And I feel that the ISLLC standard that fits this assignment best is standard number 6, which states, an education leader promotes the success of every student by understanding, responding to, and influencing the political, social, economic, legal, and cultural context. And I feel like each of these steps in this PowerPoint develops that standard pretty well. The first PowerPoint slide talks about the customs and traditions of my town, Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a small town of about 2,032 people, according to the 2010 census. It is a farming-based community with many small businesses throughout. There are all kinds of businesses throughout the downtown area and throughout the town. The demographic of the town is overwhelmingly a white community, and the majority of the people living here are Christians. Minneapolis has very many hardworking people throughout the town, which definitely include the staff, teachers, administration, and everyone involved in the school. And change is handled pretty well in our town and school if all of the options for that change are weighed very heavily first. Quick changes usually don't happen all that regularly, but hopefully after all the options are weighed, hopefully the correct changes eventually will be made. Second slide talks about knowing the characteristics of the population. Our junior and senior high school where I teach is a 7 through 12 building. And according to the Kansas State High School Activities Association, it is a 3A school. And our high school has 188 students in it. English, the English language is used by anywhere from 96 to 99% of the students as their first language. It is very, very heavy majority in that sense. And according to the 2010 census, the city of Minneapolis has 1,952 whites living in it, which makes up 96% of the population. There are 36 people that consider themselves to be 2 or more races, which makes up 1.7% of the population. There are 24 black individuals living in Minneapolis, which is 1.2%. And total, there are 1,025 men and 1,007 women. The population decreased, the total population decreased by 14 from 2000 to 2010, but the population of the people aged 0 to 17 increased from 469 to 536 from the year 2000 to 2010. Continuing in the characteristics of the population, I don't feel like there are very many problems or conflicts with diversity, especially in the school, mainly because there are overwhelmingly, it's a huge majority of white people in the school and community. There are a few minority students who are singled out sometimes because of their diversity, and they are very widely accepted, I believe, but their differences are still talked about, and I feel like some of the minority students do sometimes have a problem with that, but they are still widely accepted. The next topic talks about the channels of communication that people are using. I believe that the television, the radio, the internet, and our local paper, the Minneapolis Messenger, are the 4 main sources of information that people use. I believe our community public probably uses radio and television most to acquire their daily news. The reason I say daily news is because the Minneapolis Messenger is a weekly paper, so I believe they use that too, but not for daily information. I believe, though, that most of the younger people, most of the school-age students, receive their information from the internet, which can be a good or bad thing. It is faster and sometimes accurate, but may not always be the most reliable source of information at times. And I don't believe there really is much of a foreign language issue in Minneapolis because of the majority of the white population we have here. The next topic is the community groups in Minneapolis. There are many organizations that we have. The Masonic Lodge number 143, VFW Post 3201, our Lions Club, our Cub Backers and Lion Backers, Love Inc., Minneapolis Development Corps, the Minneapolis Community Foundation, and the Chamber of Commerce. Cub Backers is our booster club for our elementary school, and Lion Backers is our high school and junior high booster club. And as far as I can tell, or as far as I know, the only group that dominates the school politics is the school board itself. The next topic is the leadership in our town. I ended up developing or thinking of 3 individuals. The first one is our American history and American government teacher here in the high school. He also is the head boys basketball coach. The reason I thought he was a leader is because he has a really outspoken personality that is a very good teacher, but he also demands the respect from the kids and his students. And he gets that respect because not only does he demand it out of them and they listen to him, but they respect him in return because they definitely know that he cares about them, and he will tell them that, and they know it firsthand. The second person that I felt was a leader is one of our 3 doctors that we do have in town. He is a very funny, witty guy who is very kind, very open to people, and he did just go through a bout of cancer. And he and his family are very open and honest with people. They'll do anything you ask of them, and the people in the community really look up to he and his family both. The third person that I developed or thought would be a good example of a leader is the pastor of the Bennington Bible Church, which is in Bennington, Kansas, just south of us, about 7 miles. And he has many people that go to his church that are from Minneapolis, and he is also in Minneapolis very regularly and can be seen here at many times. And he is a fairly soft-spoken guy, kind of quiet guy outside of church, but in church, while he's preaching, he's very to the point, tells it like it is. He's extremely passionate about what he does and is very, very good during the church services. And he's also involved in Bible studies, a lot of specific prayer for individual people here in the town, and is a really leadership, guiding presence for many people. The next topic talks about these 3 men's characteristics. Those 3 community leaders that I just talked about are very well known and are accessible to anybody in the community. Anybody can see them, talk to them, everybody knows who they are. And they're very open and honest about anything that they come in contact with, and they'll tell you what they feel. And if they're not able to solve something or come up with a solution, they will figure out how to do so, or tell you someone that knows how to solve the problem for you. And they're very highly trusted. You can trust them with any information, so they're definitely widely respected in the community. The next section is economic conditions of Minneapolis. According to the Census of the United States, there are estimates that say that 1,552 people are at 16 years of age or older in Minneapolis, and 914 of those are employed. 27 of those 914, 27% of them are in the educational services, healthcare services, or social assistance services. 22.5% are in the manufacturing field, and 17% are involved in some sort of retail trade. As far as the household income goes, the median household income in Minneapolis is $46,739. And the median earnings for a male who works full-time and works year-round is $32,399. And the median earnings for a female who also works full-time and year-round is $27,734. Also, according to U.S. Census estimates, the median value of a home in Minneapolis is $74,400, and the total of the local and state tax rate is 8.3%. The City of Minneapolis building is located at 218 North Rock Street, and the USD 239 district office is at 716 East 7th Street. The next section talks about the political structure. I do not believe it is really ever going to be possible to separate politics from education, because I believe that there are always going to be politics involved in all the decisions made. There's always going to be people trying to sway back and forth any decisions that are made involving a school or a district. And I feel as long as the federal and state governments are continuing to help fund education, especially public education, there will always be politics involved in it. Our district, an example of this is our district attempted to pass a bond issue 6 or 7 years ago, and the first one was voted down because there were tensions between the two consolidated schools, Delphus and Minneapolis. Delphus school had to be closed, and the people in Delphus didn't feel like they needed to have a bond issue passed here after their school had been closed, so it ended up failing. And then a second one did end up passing, but I don't feel like all the necessary improvements that should have been made to the school were eventually passed. So there were a lot of politics involved in that decision that was made. Continuing in the political structure is in 2011-2012, the North Ottawa County School District 239, which is here in Minneapolis, had a total of 590 students. And the total expenditures for our district was $7,378,686. And funding to help those expenditures, there was aid from the state at $5,047,220, federal aid of $342,449, and local money that was raised was $1,989,017. The next section is social tensions here that are in Minneapolis. From the observations that I have seen, I do not see hardly any interracial fights, or I don't even know of any gang activity here. And I think a lot of that is because there's really not much diversity here in the town. And a huge majority of these kids here in the school are very good students. There are some cliques of some of the students that do exist. Some of those would be like social class. Some of the lower social class students will hang out with each other, and then higher social class students will hang out with each other. I feel like there are cliques of athletes and then also cliques of non-athletes. There are also gender, male and female cliques that take place, but there are not many religious cliques at all. At least as far as I can tell. Either the students are Christians or they are not. And I don't see many cliques that form based off of religion. And that is the end of the presentation. And I hope you enjoyed it. And have a good day.